Well, good afternoon. We're in Boise City, Oklahoma. I picked this up in Greeley, Colorado, going down to Cactus, Texas with it. So this is what we got going here. Where is this guy going? I don't know. This is what we got going here. We got Greeley to Cactus. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. I'm going to drop this, pick up an empty, deadhead up to Holcomb, Kansas, do a drop and hook in Holcomb, and then pick up one for Costco in Aurora. It's supposed to be in Costco in Aurora at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to make it hours-wise. That's over 800-mile round trip. From Greeley to Cactus, Cactus to Holcomb, Holcomb to Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, that's over 800-mile round trip. No way I can log that. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to give her a call after I drop in Cactus. I'm going to call our weekend dispatcher and tell her, and see, you know, like, what do you want me to do? Because that ain't going to happen. Not legally, anyway. Not with electronic logs. This isn't back in the day, you know, when you could just make it look right. Although those Indian drivers, they manipulate their electronic logs all the time, apparently. Looks like they got some snow down here the other day. It's melting off now, but and I did a little short earlier. A little frustrated. It's 287 to Colorado, man. Jeez. I ran into a four-wheeler going below the speed limit. And I ran into a few big trucks. I ran into one big truck. Dude was doing 58 mile an hour. And I know the company's First Choice out of Fort Worth. I know darn well their trucks can go faster than 58 mile an hour. Now, to be fair, there was a right turn, a long right turn lane onto a little side road. He pulled off in that and let me go around him eventually. Because I was like, come on, dude. There's just no reason for that. I hate 287 in the daytime. I'd rather run it late at night or early in the morning, at least the Colorado part. You know, Oklahoma's got some passing lanes. You get down here, Stratford, Texas, it turns 4-lane. It really should be 4-lane all the way to Lyman. The rumor is I-27 is supposed to come up out of Amarillo eventually and go north toward Denver. Or I think it's going to shoot over toward I-25 over there around Raton Pass. I don't know exactly. But me being in Greeley, that really does me no good if I'm coming out of Greeley, because Greeley's, it's north, but it's east of Denver. And I really don't want to have to go through Denver. You know, that's just, yeah. But it will eliminate a lot of traffic off 287. So maybe a lot of these Denver guys, you know, running between DFW and Denver will go that way. And that'll free this road up a little. Well, I did a video yesterday. I'm sure I angered some people. I don't want to say I don't care. I do care to a point, but I think what I said had to be said. And it ties into a lot of in the trucking industry. And I'll give you an example. Today at the JBS plant in Greeley, right? I pulled off into the right turn lane. There was a truck sitting in there checking in. So I waited. Right before the right turn, I waited. Well, here comes a truck bobtail coming the other way. He stops because he sees me sitting there. Me and there's a truck behind me. And right when that truck that was in the lane, the check-in lane, starts to pull out, right when I'm about to pull up, he pulls right in behind that guy. I laid on the horn and he just kind of looked at me like, what? Anyway, that's whatever, I let it go. I'm picking my trailer up. He walks up to me with one tooth, and it smelled like he must have smoked a carton of cigarettes that morning. I mean, he was reeking of it. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry about cutting in front of you there. I didn't know." And I'm like, well, they don't like for two trucks to get in that lane at the same time. And guards get real pissy about that. So that's why you're supposed to wait until the lane is clear, then you pull in there. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't. I said, well, I'm just telling you. I said, that's all right. I just kept telling him, that's fine, whatever. I'm already calmed down from it. Don't get me going again. Needless to say, I got out of there before he did anyway. So I got my trailer hooked up, and slid the axles and all that. That's another thing. Don't slide your axles in the exit lane. Slide them before you get to the exit lane. Now, if you're Tyson and Holcomb, they don't want you sliding them back there. Wait till you go through, and then you pull off to the side and do it. But these guys, at the plant there in Greeley, they go into the exit lane. They wait for the guy to come out to check them out, which that takes long enough as it is. And then they want to start jacking with their axles right there. I said, come on, man. Meanwhile, you got 2 or 3 guys waiting to get out. And the clock is ticking. They got their logs going. So it's all the same thing. It's like we're getting dumber. Or we're getting more like, I don't care. It's all about me. I don't care. That's what I was talking about in the previous video. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting crotchety as I get older. I don't know. Maybe it's just, almost 2 years in Alaska driving where the drivers have a bit more common sense because they're treated like adults up there. Maybe that's what, I just have no tolerance anymore. That's possible. That's possible. I'm getting crotchety. That's entirely possible. I'll be, like that picture, old man yells at cloud. That will be me. That's fine. I can live with that. Too many humans out here humaning, doing human-like stuff. Maybe that's my problem. I'm just not fit to be around humans. That's why I got in this business in the first place, 30 plus years ago. I wasn't too fond of humans back then. So when you hear me go on rants, understand that I do it from a position of love. Or tough love. Because I see society going to crap. In this industry and everywhere else. But I'm a minimalist, right? I'm a minimalist. I don't go to Starbucks. I'll get coffee at the truck stop, or when I'm at home, I make my own coffee. I don't go to the Cheesecake Factory or any place like that because they probably don't, I'm not going to eat dinner at a place called the Cheesecake Factory unless I'm just eating cheesecake. spaghetti warehouse, I'm going to order spaghetti. Which I hadn't been to the spaghetti warehouse since probably the mid-90s. My point is, you know, I don't interact a lot with the human race. Although, surprisingly to my wife, when I do, I'm very professional. Because she's heard me rant and rave on the phone about traffic, and I'm pulling up on a customer's property, and she'll hear me, because I got my Bluetooth in, get out and say, you know, hello, hey, how you doing? You know, I've got this load, blah, blah, whatever. Yes, sir, okay, or yes, ma'am. And she'll be like, wow, you're polite. I said, well, yeah, I'm on the customer's property. Once I get on the shipper or customer's property, boom, totally different attitude. Totally different attitude. I'm no longer ranting and raving at traffic and people because I've got a job to do. So anyway, it's going to be a long night. It'll be a long day, long night, whatever. I really don't know what I'm going to, I don't know what she's going to have me do. There's no way I can make it back up to the Denver area tonight or by morning. I'll have to take a 10-hour break somewhere between here and there. Obviously, I can get to Cactus. Obviously, I can get up to Holcomb. And I can get probably back into Colorado. In fact, I know I can get back into Colorado. I may even make it back up close to I-70. But there's no way I can make it to Aurora. I think the most I've ever done in 11 hours is about 740 miles. And that was on all interstate in the west between like Dallas and you know, somewhere in New Mexico, almost Arizona. But I mean, that was good traffic overnight, not a lot of traffic. You know, I left Dallas that evening, and you know, it was still early morning when I got to El Paso, so they would breeze through El Paso. You know, that's just, everything just fell into place. That was doing, you know, 75 or better. But you know, running mostly 2-lane roads here, there's just no way. I mean, there's no way anyway I'm going to get in 800 miles, 800 plus miles in 11 hours. It's not going to happen. I'm sure there's some Billy Big riggers out there. I can do 800 miles in 11 hours. No problem. I'll just set my cruise on 103 and go on about. Well, you go on with it there, Billy Big rigger. I've gone down the road triple digits in a truck before too. Not for 800 miles though. I did it down there on Interstate 8 in Arizona one time coming out of Yuma. I buried the speedometer in that old 379 Pete I was driving for a guy. Had a 500 cat, 18 speed, 411 rears. I was a bad dude, man. Blew past a cop in the median down there before we got to Gila Bend. I don't know, he must have been sleeping or something, because I kept looking back there to see if I saw headlights popping out around me, but, you know, or behind me. So that dude must be asleep. It was late at night. Hard to get away with that nowadays. night so much, because you try to do that late at night as much as possible. It's Kroger trucks. Notice Kroger changed the logos on their trucks and trailers. There's a bunch of them. Where they're coming from and where they're going. I know Kroger's got a big warehouse in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They've got one in Denver. Maybe they're going back and forth between the two. I don't know. Got another one coming? No, somebody different. Much traffic on this road. APU fixed. My APU quit working, brand new. Before I did my 34, I unloaded in Denver. They had me go over there to the carrier dealer. And I was talking to the guy in there. He said, I just put that thing on a few weeks ago. I said, I know. It's not starting. Well, broken wire. I had to start it. That's all it was. I felt kind of bad. Then I said, well, shoot, I should have looked. I could have done it myself. He said, no. He said, man, that thing was hard to get to. You're better off just letting us do it. Anyway, I got it done. You know, when you're a guy, and I don't know, maybe women, I don't know, I can't speak for women, but when you're a guy, I think a lot of guys understand this. When you're a guy and you take a vehicle to a shop, and the mechanic's like, oh yeah, it was simple, it was just a wire, you feel kind of stupid. Now, the guy at our shop told me to take it over there because it's under warranty. It's warranty work. Because the guy told me, he said, yeah, probably when they put the thing together, they didn't tighten that wire down, the connector, and it probably vibrated until it broke loose. So, I mean, it was on them, or it was on carrier, whoever. But still, you know, as a guy, you're like, I'm not going to fix that. You don't like to see another guy fixing something easy like that. You know, kind of makes you feel bad. But I get it. And I'm sure it is in a difficult spot if it was on the starter. These APUs, if you ever had to work on them, you don't have a lot of room. I've had to change belts on them before. And you just do not have a lot of room to get your hands in there and work on anything. So I probably would have been just pissed off anyway trying to fix it. So it's best they did it. I don't like these new APUs. They're a new model, and the control panel's new, and I just don't like it. I don't like the control panel. You can't hardly read it. They should have left the old control panel. It was easier to use. But truck manufacturers, reefer companies, you know, who make these APUs, all of them, they're just like the car manufacturers. They'll have something on a car that has worked for years, but the engineers just cannot stand it. They've got to change it. They've got to bring in a new model. Doesn't matter if the way it's been, you know, has been working for decades. Doesn't matter. They've got to change it. And usually when they change it, they just make it worse. But that's what engineers do. It's like one of the mechanics there in Alaska was telling me. We were talking about that. He said, yeah. He said, you know, it's like somewhere down the road, a mechanic was sleeping with an engineer's wife. And the engineers have been trying to get their revenge on us ever since. The way they built some of this stuff. I think that about cops sometimes, with truck drivers. Sometimes you just want to ask, what's the matter, dude? Did you find your wife in bed with a truck driver or something? I mean, what's your problem? Although, I haven't been bothered in a while, so I can't really say too much. Last few times I've had to deal with law enforcement, you know, everybody's been pretty cool. They're pretty cool up in Alaska, you know. They're the one scale there in Tok on the Alaska Highway. That guy can be a bit of a, you know, bit rough. If you don't have Alaska plates. If you got Alaska plates on your truck, he's a bit easier on you. If you don't have Alaska plates, he'll give you the runaround, man. That's why a lot of these Landstar drivers who run Alaska a lot, usually just in the summer, but they'll have Alaska plates. Because they know that if they don't, they're going to get harassed at the scale. So you'll have your whatever base plate if you're from a lower 48 did a few of their stores. When I worked for a company, we did a little bit of their stuff. You'd leave Amarillo about 3 in the morning. Didn't matter where you were going, you'd leave about 3 in the morning. And if you were just doing like day work for them, you'd go to these little stores in Texas, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, just kind of local, and then go back. And it's a job, man. You got to help unload, which I don't mind doing that, but sometimes you don't get back till like 2 in the afternoon. And it's really dang near impossible to log it. I think I did it like 3 times. I think all 3 times I ended up having to go on yard moves or personal conveyance just to get back to the Amarillo warehouse. Because you have so much time. It's not so much that you're doing that much driving. It's just that much time. From the time you leave to the time you get back. I don't see how those guys do it. Unless they have some sort of exemptions or something. I don't know. Now, if they're local, they stay within a certain amount of miles of Amarillo, they may be able to just sign a timesheet. There's a guy who's doing 58 right there, that first choice truck. He must have got ahead of me when I stopped to get fuel. That's him. When I stopped back there in Boise City, he must have got ahead of me. I'm glad he pulled off. Although it's going to be 4-lane up here anyway. Almost to Stratford. I see. It's not an accident or something. Let me slow down. There's something going on up here. It could be. It's oversized. Okay. They're just taking both lanes. Big load, that's for sure. Alright. Fair enough. Well, I feel bad for all you guys behind him. You can't even pass him in the passing lane. He's taking both lanes there. Whew. Got a police escort and everything. It's a big load when you got the cops out there escorting you. Loads like that, I give them a break. The guys doing the wind farm stuff, nope. You get no mercy from me. Some people may think I'm being an a-hole. That's fine. I've got my reasons. And I've talked about it before. That right lane kind of leans real bad the other side of the 4-way stop up there. Stratford, the pheasant capital of Texas. Fair enough. unloading Cactus, we usually have one coming right back up, but not today. It's probably for the best. One trip down 287 is about all I can stand in one day. Do a video later after I drop this in Cactus, but by the time I get to Holcomb, it's going to be dark. I do enough overnight videos. Bad enough, it's pretty barren out here. Most of the places I go anyway, much less at night. Sky today. And shoot east for about an hour and go to my house, but not yet. I think my next 34-hour break I'm going to do at the house. I'm going to be there longer than 34 hours, but yeah, before I run out of hours again, I'll probably go home. I don't know, I'll see. I've got something possibly going on between now and then. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I don't know, I'll see. To give me a load that had a drop in Atlanta and a drop in Orlando, Florida. And I'm like, she told me about it last night. I said, what did I make somebody mad or something? And she called because she was texting me. She called me and she's like, oh, you don't want to do that? I said, I'll do it if you need me to, but no, I didn't lose nothing down south. I really don't want to go. I said, but I'll do it. She goes, no, I can find somebody else to do it. We just thought maybe you might want to do something different. I said, not really. I said, I go the rest of my life without ever crossing the Mississippi River again. I said, now I don't mind going over to Ohio or somewhere like that, but I don't want to go to Georgia and Florida, no. And then have to go down through Tennessee and all that, no. So there's too much traffic down there. It's too much, and it's wintertime. All the snowbirds are down in Florida. No, I really don't want to. He's like, okay, I said, if you get in a bind, let me know and I'll do it. He goes, no, I think I can cover it. Because we don't go out that way. But I guess they thought they were doing me a favor. You're not doing me any favors, man. You want to run me up to Washington or somewhere like that, or down to Arizona or something, I don't mind doing that, but I'm not crossing the Mississippi River unless I just absolutely have to. And I say that, we'll go to that Tyson IBP plant in Rochelle, Illinois every once in a while. That's not bad, I don't mind doing that. But like I said, I don't even mind going over in she's liable to call me later and say, I couldn't cover that Florida load. I'm gonna have to put you on it. Okay. And I'll do it. Those guys that run up and down I-95 their whole career, bouncing between, say, Boston and Miami or something. You guys got my respect, man. I'd rather run up and down the Dalton Highway in Alaska every day for the rest of my life than run 95 back and forth up and down the eastern seaboard. Sunday, the cows are all just kind of standing around, chilling, eating grass, doing what cows do. There's some horses. I don't think you can see them on the camera, but they're over there on my left. Got a little over 5,000 miles on it now. It's still got a ways to go for it. Broke into it. Goes a Linden truck. He's probably going up to Alberta. Excuse me. They run trucks between Dallas and Alberta, between Houston and Alberta. I think they relay them up there, and then they get a guy that runs them from there to Alaska. If I was still living in the Dallas area, I'd try to get on there, although Linden's pretty corporate. And I'm pretty set in my ways. It's hard for me to work for the big companies. afraid of a little bit of weather. I know a couple of guys that are coming down from there right now on their way to Midland, Odessa area, West Texas. Do some oil field driving. And I said, well, gonna go from the Arctic to the desert, huh? Be a nice little switch. Either way, you know, you're kind of out there. Cactus now. I didn't realize we were that close. I could have stayed behind this guy, but he's not moving very fast. I can smell it. Really didn't realize we were that close. I'd have just stayed behind him. Alright, well, we'll pull in, and I guess I'll end this video. I'll go check in. I've never pulled an empty out of here before. Hopefully we have some. If not, well, I don't know. Bobtailing the Holcomb. Those old Prime there. Get out of their way here. Trailer over there to my right. I actually see a couple of them. Well, okay then. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I appreciate you watching. And we will see you next time.